Welcome into DC On Screen. I am your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hi.
Today we are going to be talking about Legends of Tomorrow, Season 1, Episode 9, Left Behind. No, this isn't a remake of the book series. There's no Kirk Cameron running about. Thank God.
You've been spared.
We've been spared. There's no Nick Cage and no Kirk Cameron. Man.
There you go.
You know what there is? Spoilers. A whole lot of Mick.
Whole lot of Mick. I think on our particular page, on our little piece of the digital landscape, I think it was Jason Smith who first called it. So congratulations, sir.
Yeah, he said anyone else, and he called it in a crazy way too.
I admit that was a neat take. That was a neat. Yeah, it was a good catch.
He says, does anyone else think Chronos kind of has the same walk as Heatwave?
And I was thinking, like, they look like they're built the same. Chronos isn't, like, Mick always walks around like he's kind of, the way he walks reminds me of, like, the Thing. Just clunky, you know? But
yeah,
I was looking at Chronos and I thought, like, yeah, I agree, but I could make an out for it. Like, Chronos is kind of in this giant clunky piece of armor. I mean, yeah, you could. Yeah. It wasn't conclusive, but it was a damn good catch, and it was right. Ultimately right.
Yeah, I never paid attention to the way he walked or anything. So.
If it turns out Jason Smith's a physical therapist, he's cheating. But even still, good call.
We could probably find out. Let's spend the episode doing that.
Clearly where we need to go with this.
So, Scott Madison says, Ray worries about the Wave Rider not finding him. Nth metal, atom suit, sensors will find you. That's a good point.
That's fair. I mean, I still, trying to build a beacon to make it easier. That's fine. I got no problem with that outright. But I had a problem with Sara having a problem with it outright. What does it hurt? Like, what does it hurt for Ray to hold on to hope a little bit and get to, make his little beacon? By the way, this week, way too much use of the word beacon in the CW verse, but whatever.
Yeah. But Sara was a little snot this entire episode.
She gave up way too fast.
Mm-hmm. I did like the passage of time and how it was presented here. This is what I was looking for. Like, we're doing time travel? Hell yes. Let's have somebody stuck for 2 or 3 years somewhere. Right. That's awesome. I like that. I don't know. I kind of felt like it was a cheat, but at the same time, I was good with it. Like, I liked that, Ray and Kendra basically, fell in love and almost got to a point of getting engaged over the course of 2 years in one episode. That's kind of neat.
And they did it well. And I even liked the repetition of the phrase 10 minutes later, 10 hours later, 10 days later, 10 weeks later. Mm-hmm. I liked that. And then what do we get to 2 years later? So it's about 2 and some change that they've been out.
Yeah. When it hit 2 years later, I was like, shit, I can't believe they've gone that far.
Yeah. But it did. It legitimized, Tiara and Ray hugely. Because now we have 2 years. And I also like I kind of do dig the dynamic that now, like, a little less than half the team has been on this mission for more than 2 years. And the other half the rest of the team has been on this mission for, like, a few months, right?
Yeah, that's fun.
That could be a neat dynamic if they want to play with it.
If they want to, sure.
But yeah, Sara just gave up on him way too fast, man.
Yeah, and I kind of thought it was ridiculous that they had to go and find her in Nana Parbat. I was just like, oh man, really? And Ray's like, I can't believe I'm back in Nana Parbat. I'm like, yeah, me either, buddy.
Right.
Don't we go here enough in Arrow? Do we have to do this in Legends as well? Legends of Tomorrow, you can go anywhere.
He even
choose
calls
to go to Nana Parbat
you
in
go to
the
a
60s,
set we've already
which,
seen
by the way, looks exactly like it does now.
That I find absolutely believable.
I do too, but it's so boring.
I did love his use of exactly the phrase, Nanda, I can't believe I'm back here, Parbat.
Uh-huh.
That was wonderful. Now, the time drift thing, how'd you feel about that?
The time drift thing?
Yeah, where you start to lose parts of your original timeline's personality. You start to lose essentially you start to lose the character development you'd had from the if you're in a displaced timeline, I guess I'll call it.
Well, I think you just kind of answered your own question. How do I feel about that? Kind of don't want to just be losing character development.
No, I'd like that there's a mechanism for it, though. That's what I ended up digging about the time drift. Yeah. That if we're going to go to a new timeline, that something does that, like there is a personal psychological effect of being in a new timeline. I kind of dug that. I like that they've laid it out and that there's an actual effect and it has a name and everything. I even kind of dug the whole, like, from Ray's perspective, he just thought she didn't really want to hawk out. Like, it just didn't. He thought it was a non-issue, and for her, it's like, no, I'm losing 2,000 years worth of memories, and I can't do the hawk thing anymore, which is rough, I assume.
I just got the memories.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, it's got to be rough to sit there and watch, pieces of what you'd built and who you were just go away. And same time, it doesn't feel. You feel bad for Ray too. Like, he built this whole Atom suit, and he hasn't gotten to play with that in the last 2 years. And he enjoyed being a hero probably more than any of the other people here. Mm-hmm. So,
but what he enjoyed more than being a hero is why the whole reason he started being a hero is being married. So I mean,
yeah, no, he was happy. Like, he was finally happy. That's something we didn't bring up on the Arrowcast, but same thing. Like, you have those. It's a story where you have the character that wasn't necessarily supposed to be happy. They finally find it, and then they can't stay there.
Yeah.
Poor bastard.
Yeah.
Like,
I
that
was
talk
glad,
they
though.
have at the end was just a long time coming.
Whose talk at the end?
Oh, Ray and Ciara's talk at the end there with she never explicitly says that. Throughout the episode, she doesn't say enough about how she feels about Ray. Like, all she had to do at any point was say, "Look, I had a lot of stuff going on. I still want to be with you. I just want to be with you here." And she never actually says that at any point. Seems like a simple thing, but
yeah, no, it's not. It totally seemed like she was just like, "Well, no, I don't want to be with you since we're doing." I mean.
I get where he's coming from, though, because to him, she made it seem like it was just a really nice way to spend their time since they were stuck there. But now that they're back, that's.
And she kept saying we could finally be ourselves, and he's just like, I was being myself.
I was myself. I could see the puppy dog eyes he was doing the whole episode. I totally could.
How'd you feel about Talia being officially a part of this universe now?
That was cool. If they go back to Nanda Parbat in the present timeline, we can play with, we can have a Talia around now too, instead of just a Nissa.
Mm-hmm. I liked that Mick was Chronos.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I like that I geeked out when they started talking about the Vanishing Point.
Oh yeah.
He was taken to the Vanishing Point, and they trained him for lifetimes. That was kind of badass.
They said that, and I kind of thought, yeah, you would have to take lifetimes to train Mick.
Right, and just train him enough to the point where he could only kind of halfway do his job well, because Chronos has not been the best at aim. He hasn't been the best at like taking down any of these people. So I'm like, yeah, well, okay. Well,
one would not call him efficient.
Yeah.
But they taught the dude how to use like futuristic technology, how to understand timelines. He can obviously fly a spaceship now. Like he clearly learned some crap when he was out there. And he figured out enough about timelines that he knows he can go in reverse and kill Snart's sister over and over and over again. Like, man, Snart looks actually frightened by this guy by the end of his couple of scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked that. I liked that a lot.
The fear in his eyes was a nice touch.
Yeah.
And then the hand.
I laughed. Scott didn't like it, but I liked the Bill Gates thing.
Oh yeah, it was cute.
I liked the Snart hand thing, but I would have been annoyed if they didn't do it at the end, because they've already like pretty much made that the thing on the show. But him getting his hand back, was kind of cheap.
Nah,
but I felt like they had written themselves into a corner, because I was
they
like,
couldn't not give him his hand back.
Exactly, because of how they've already displayed that technology on the show. I was like,
right. It didn't worry me, and I'll tell you what, man, the actual visual they did a good job with. Like,
they did.
It looked good, and honestly, like that looked so cool. I think I would chop my hand off if I could watch it rebuild that way. That looked awesome. I would love to sit there and watch it rebuild from bone. I'm sure that's absolutely grievous to most people, to a lot of people, but that looks fascinating, man.
You know, it'd be funny is if they, and I hope they do it, where like he's not really a quick draw anymore. He has to like reteach himself how to write or something, because the muscles don't have, like, he has a little more trouble with things because of muscle memory not being there anymore.
Yeah, it wouldn't really work that way, but it'd be neat. Well, no, I say that it actually would bother me, because it's totally not how that would work.
How would it work?
Muscle memory is a phrase, but it's really in your brain still. It's stored mostly in the parietal area.
Well, I mean, I know that there are certain things like I can remember, like, when I haven't drawn anything, or when I haven't drawn anything in a long time, like, I don't get as good at it. I get worse and worse and worse at it the longer I go without doing it. It's all still in my head of how to do it, but the actual muscles don't want to move that way anymore. So if I never trained my muscles in the first place.
It's still in your head, though. It is still just a functioning skill about your brain, though. Like, in theory, if you cut off somebody's hand and gave them an exact replacement a millisecond later, that person would never know the difference, in theory.
I mean, I guess I can see that. I mean, I was just thinking about, like, strength and, like, the ability to, like, the muscle was quicker.
See, that would be a nice touch. Like, imagine, all right, so say you've learned some new skill set where your hand got stronger. Like, you needed to learn whatever it was. Where just some of the tiny, more minute muscles have strength and giving you like a little bit more dexterity with a specific skill set that you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. So then you got to wonder, like, what level, like, what stage of development was that hand in? Is it just a perfectly rote hand? Because did it match his DNA set? But it's just hand, adult male A.
Right.
In which case he'll have to, quicken his trigger finger again. But
yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Like, because you see him throughout the show, the way he like flips that gun around and stuff, and like he's got some tricks down.
Yeah,
he did some shit with that hand. I don't know. Just seemed like maybe there was going to be something he was going to have to train for.
I could do it and just having the hand back and we move on. I mean, if they never mention it again, other than just saying, "Well, I thought I was going to lose my hand, but that was cool." That's fine with me, actually.
Yeah, just a thought. Apparently, a completely inaccurate thought, but still just a thought.
I can make a case for it, but I think it would bother me because it theoretically wouldn't largely work that way.
Yeah.
How'd you like Raish, man?
He was fine.
Matt Nable still keeping it classy.
It's just Matt Nable's. Like he's not my Ra's al Ghul. He's just not.
He did a good enough take on it. I never had a problem with it.
The closest I've ever actually seen it done is Liam Neeson.
Isn't that scary?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I love David Warner doing the voice and, from BTAS. And,
of course.
I love that version of Ra's al Ghul. And the closest I've seen is Neeson. But, believe me, Neeson was not the problem with any of those movies.
It just wasn't his fault.
It wasn't his fault. That's why I like when they actually did call up Liam Neeson and were like, "Hey, would you want to do this?" And he was like, "Yes, but I have another movie I've got to do." Like, I wouldn't have minded. Like, to me, in my mind, it wouldn't have necessarily meant that this was the Nolan verse. This would just meant like, oh, he's just racing both verses. That's good.
Yeah.
Like, second chance. But I like Matt Nable's okay. I
got no problem with him.
Something about him always just strikes me as odd, and I don't know what it is.
I do. I like it. He's got like a distant feel to him, where somehow when he orders someone to death for something very trivial, I actually buy it out of him because he's just a little bit off-putting in a way that I dig it. I dig it, and he can be touching every now and then. That little smirk at the end when he realizes he's going to have another daughter. It's kind of an actually humanizing moment for somebody like him. Because by the end of the day, he's going to order like 4 people to their deaths. So you got to take those where you can.
Mm-hmm. You know what I think it is? He always comes off as more of a, I don't know how to say this nicely. He seems like a blue-collar Ra's al Ghul. Like, the Ra's al Ghul in the comics and even in like every one of them I've seen up to this point has always been like very regal. Haughty, yeah, like he acts like this is like the nouveau riche Ra's al Ghul. Like this guy, I don't know. He seems like he just finished a beer at the local tavern and now he's gonna go put on his nice robe and walk around and look at all of his nice things. That's how I feel.
I dig that. I do. I like his version though. And I specifically loved what do they call it? A life extending jacuzzi.
Yeah.
Well done.
That was fun.
Well done.
That was fun. Scott Madison says, Jax, you cannot not knock out a league assassin with a single punch.
No. Actually, I thought about that, and here's my theory.
Mm-hmm.
And it's inherently flawed, but I'm thinking, what's guard duty if not like one of the worst tasks you can be given? This is a beginner level task, right?
Mm-hmm.
I keep thinking that maybe that's why this kind of crap happens, just in general in movies and television. Like the sentries those are the people who haven't earned a greater, more important task inside the damn compound.
Right.
So you end up with your CD team, out hanging out on the outskirts, which seems like a bad idea. For me.
Jack seems surprised that he actually knocked him out.
Jack seems surprised about everything.
I know. It just worked for him in this instance.
It just happened to apply just fine here.
Which brings us to Scott Madison saying, Jax, shut up. People's Court references help nothing. It's a long story, pal. Shut up.
No, I liked It's a Long Story, pal. I liked that.
I didn't.
I enjoyed that one.
I feel him on that one.
I can get behind it. How'd you like the start mix scenes, though, as far as, like, overall? I mean, I thought it held up as well as anything else they've done this season.
They were fine, but Mick wasn't really Mick. He didn't act like Mick, and that was a good call.
Well, he can't. You know, he's been out there for a couple hundred years, it sounds like.
That's what I'm saying. It makes sense.
I mean, I miss the Captain and Tennille references myself, but...
Yeah. It's fine, though. Scott says has something that I agree with. He says it's hard to reconcile their next move heading to the 22nd century to force an endgame with Savage. Yeah.
Yeah, halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Or a little over the halfway mark in the season. And we know they're coming back. I mean, all right, next episode we're in like 2147 at some giant conglomerate, whatever, future thing. And then the episode after that is the one where we're going back in time to hide from whatever consequences they incur there. We're going back in time to hide and hang out with Jonah Hex for a little while.
Uh-huh.
I admit, dropping the I've been holding out on this one card, and now's the time to play it. I didn't think it was the right time to play it, personally.
Yeah.
This seems like a 2 or 3 episodes before you end the season kind of thing, not like 7.
Yeah. As far as the overall plot goes for Legends, I haven't been enthusiastic. I haven't felt good about it. I just haven't. Like, I don't know. Like, no part of Rip Hunter's plan ever feels like it's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he is not doing a clean and clear-cut job with this thing. No doubt about it. I mean, let's go save Sara, and then like 4 seconds later, they're all in jail.
Yeah, so, based on everything we know now about Rip Hunter, yeah, okay, it makes sense that he would just make really poor decisions all the time, and
yeah,
I think there's no logic to this guy. He's just patently bad.
Like something though that no, he's made a lot of really terrible decisions so far on this journey. But I tell you, all right, at the end here, what we have is Mick is now captured and imprisoned, and thankfully they have a mute button. But he I care so much more about watching them like try to unbrainwash Mick than I did ever in the course of this episode about Sara.
Yeah.
Like if they had just walked in and looked at her and gone, "Oh, yeah, she's spent. Let's get out of here." That'd have been fine.
Uh-huh.
Although I would have missed that battle at the end. The Powerbot battle with all like the actual effects, climax and everything looked fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was a little surprised by how good it looked.
Every now and then, this show will just kind of pull one of those scenes out on you where they've got all the main characters all in costume doing their superpowered shit, and it looks phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the writers on this show, and all the shows, really, sort of have just like, if nothing else, what they do really well is just know when you've had enough of their bullshit, and they pull out something that makes you want to watch more.
Well, thanks for putting up with the Powerbot storyline. Here's more of the Atom. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. I was getting a little tired. I got to ask you, though, and I think this was really the last thing I had on this episode, to be honest myself, but the climactic battle, right, with Sara and Chiara?
Uh-huh.
She's holding that knife to Hot Girl's throat, and she says, "White Canary," and without being able to help myself, I swear, I flashed back and I wanted to see Sara go, why did you say that name? I wanted it so bad.
I'm good, man.
It would have ruined so many things, but it just the memory is too fresh, and
yeah, Sarah's lapse in I don't know, personality. I know they explained it in the episode, but it was still bad.
I liked her a lot more when she gets to the end and she's explaining to Raish it's the second time I've wandered up to these steps not knowing who I was, and yet I liked it being home away from home for her in a way, but it just they'll give her these episodes every now and then that do nothing but weaken her character, where she gets in a bad situation, so what does she do? She reverts immediately to the most primal possible form of herself. So they'll spend episodes giving me good reasons to trust Sarah's character development, and then they'll just take it away. Yeah. And this is how am I supposed to trust her now? But I do that with her all the time, though.
Well, you're supposed to trust her because show.
They do that every now and then. Once she's back on the ship, we're supposed to think it's okay, but She reverts too quickly to, well, times got a little hard. I'm going to go kill some people.
Yeah, and she's one of those that I'm pretty sure they're just never going to kill.
No, I'm pretty sure that we're in the minority, actually, of people that don't like Sara.
Yeah, we are. I'm pretty sure we are. I mean, I've heard the term fan favorite tossed about in reference to her.
Yeah.
Which is why they brought her back, because they were like, well, I mean, we needed a reason to make Laurel the Black Canary, but nobody really wanted Sara to go.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
I mean, it is what it is, though, man. I mean, we love these properties, and we love a lot of these characters, and hell, we even love most of the, not most, but we love a lot of the portrayals we're seeing these days, and a lot of where the shows are going are damn good sometimes. Sometimes it's not, and we try to talk about all that, but we're just eventually going to end up on the wrong side of an issue, and I think that's Sara. Or maybe not the wrong side, but Jesus, on the small side.
Right. I was about to say that. I'm pretty sure I'm right. I don't like her.
Oh, well.
I'm not sure. I've seen Katie Lotz do scenes where she was good. So
yeah,
this is another one of those where I'm like, I don't know who to blame here, but boo.
I'm not going to say our problem's never been with Katie Lotz. We've thought she absolutely destroyed a few scenes, and we thought she destroyed a few scenes. She's run the range as far as how much we've appreciated her performance.
Look, man.
But
for anyone who thinks we're just being too harsh at this, this is episodic television. This is weekly shows. They have to get shit done quick. They don't have a whole lot of time to sit around pondering where their character's coming from or getting into mode. When it's time to shoot, it's time to shoot.
Right.
So I'm not, really trying to come down on anybody too hard. I'm just
not even saying we could do a better job. I'm just saying we can have some fun with it when it goes bad.
No. Yeah, I don't know.
But it's fun to talk about when the whole thing's over.
Yeah, and I'm just not sure where they're heading with their character, and I'm not sure I care because they've kind of strung me along for so long.
Yeah.
With Sara, we've known her since season 2 of Arrow. How far has she really gotten?
Nowhere. She just went back to the League of Shadows.
I know.
I'll stop there with my point.
Well, she went back to the League of Shadows, and you, dear listener, should go back to DCOnScreen.com for every episode of DC On Screen. We're on iTunes. We're on Stitcher. I think that wrapped us all up, right?
Yeah, we're good. We're good here.
All right.
Welcome back,
If you want a similar podcast, what?
Welcome back, Mick.
Welcome back, Mick.
My takeaway from this episode.
Sure. If you want a similar podcast about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, go check out our friends Matt Carroll and Jeff Randall at the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. We are a proud member of the Giant Size Team Up Network, GiantSizeTeamUp.com, and we will probably be back for you guys on a Tuesday from an episode that we're going to record on a Monday. That's all the news stuff coming down.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lots of news.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit Italian there. There's a lots of news.
I don't know what that was. Some Southwestern European thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I wasn't going for anything in particular, but it happened.
And we all have to live with it now.
And we should be having a bonus episode for you guys coming up sometime this week. So until next time, guys, keep some DC on your screen.
Amazon Delivery Service Partners are hiring full-time delivery drivers to meet growing customer demand. Receive compensation of at least $20 per hour at select stations, plus benefits and a sign-on bonus of $1,000 from participating DSPs if you apply now. No delivery experience required. Must be 21 years or older. Terms apply. Apply today at amazon.com/driver. That's amazon.com/driver.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.